we need to take advantage of the infrastructure that's already in place with regard to water and sewer and encourage developers to come in and build that housing. There's been some debate about that, and that some people feel we don't want to build that housing that's close together or housing that's in big units. And yet we're under pressure as a city by the Met Council to have a certain density. And so as we build some of those larger units with additional capacity, that actually allows the current spaces of Corcoran, which are more rural, to remain that way, as opposed to that pressure being there. So I'm not opposed to that. And also the fact that individuals like to live in that housing. May not be us, but some people will love to be in that housing. And we need life cycle housing. I feel like people love this community so much that we need to have a place for people to go and retire to and enjoy their community that they've spent their life in.
I think, just as a general governing philosophy, one, there are going to be some things that the Met Council will try to impose upon us, such as what kind of housing we need to have here in Corcoran. I don't think the city has a place to say what kind of housing should be built here. I don't think the city council should determine what kind of housing, or if somebody wants to open a business, what kind of business somebody should open. I think the city should provide the infrastructure. The city should provide the desire for businesses and residents to come here, but I don't think we as a council should dictate what gets built, what kind of business people run. I think that's entirely up to you, the citizens.
So I think that affordable housing means perhaps a different thing out here than it does in town. One thing, you have to have a working car 100% of the time to live out here, otherwise you're stuck. And there is no mass transit yet. So that my house, I think my house is still a starter house, even though I'm retired. They can probably qualify as affordable housing. It's affordable for me. Just barely, but it is. So my feeling is that housing ought to be at a variety of values for a variety of people who want to live in Corcoran. The folks who live in closer, on the east side of Corcoran, will be able to take more easily advantage of mass transit than out where I live. And I think that developers are open to doing a whole variety of different sorts of developments. I think it's wonderful to be part of every single development that comes in.
Next question, we will start with you, Mr. Tom Anderson, then followed by Mr. John Barba, and then Ms. Jennifer Russell, and then finishing with Brian Wojcicki. If there is anything that you would like to change about the current operation of the city of Corcoran, what is it? And if there's nothing you don't want to change, why not?
I think that the operation of Corcoran right now is really pretty good. It's pretty close. I would love to have the position of city engineer moved in-house. There's a proposal coming forward to do that. Part of the reason is that it would give folks with questions on engineering a very quick turnaround, and I understand because it's outsourced now, it would take a little while to do that. And it would also then provide a single point of contact for folks that have maintenance kinds of issues with the city. You wouldn't be trying to get a hold of Pat all the time. He's busy, and frankly, it would be better to talk to Pat's boss than it is to talk to Pat to help him schedule the whole business. So I really think that would be a great addition to the service of Corcoran.
I really like and appreciate the internal staff here at City Hall. I really do think that we have great people running the city. And what I would like to do, and this seems almost universal, we have to have those people we subcontract move in-house, not just because of their time, but so they can act as an advocacy for us and become a resource for you. And I think we'd all benefit from that.
Seems to be the same theme. Having more in-house staff with those expertise. I'm a consultant, so I work with multiple cities at one time, and just from my experience, having so many projects built up with different cities, I feel like some cities feel like they get lost, and other cities get more attention based on project needs. So I really feel having that staff in-house would be helpful, and also having more forms of communication for all types of residents. Not everyone has technology that they can use. Not everyone prefers getting mailing. So I think opening different types of communication is something for the city to think about as well.
So also an agreement about bringing some staff in-house, both from a budgetary standpoint and from a productivity standpoint. I agree with that. So I won't belabor that point. One of the things that I would love to see change as far as operationally at Corcoran is the speed. I had a full head of hair when I started working with the city council, and now we're into trouble. So I would really love to see some, like I've said already, some goals set that all the council members in agreement. What are we going to accomplish, and how are we going to get that done, so that we know what we're focused on, and it doesn't just keep dragging out month to month to month.
Perfect. The next question, the order will be Mr. John Bottoма, followed by Ms. Jennifer Russell, then Mr. Brian Dejewski, and then finishing with Mr. Tom Anderson. What role can the council play in controlling property assessments and resulting the tax increases to make sure that it actually reflects the value, the market value? Rephrase it?
Yeah.
Okay. So what can the council do to be able to control assessments and any resulting property tax increase to make sure it reflects actual market value at time of sale? The accuracy.
I don't have a response to that. I don't know how much control the city council has over the assessment of, perhaps what they're talking about is the assessment on each house for improvements in the road. I'm not sure. What I would want to do is limit when you say, what can council do to control? I would actually, part of the theme is to limit council's control. So I would say I would minimize it. Whatever it is, if somebody said, how does council control? I would say, I want to minimize that. So my answer is, I would like to minimize that.
I'm with you on that one. I think first of all, you and I should sit down and do some research. As city council members, that would be our first thing to do. Yeah, I don't have 100% knowledge on that, but I would say doing the research, trying to find out the best way to keep everything, the cost low for residents would be the best way to start.
I would say assessments are primarily based off of comparisons. And so if we're seeing that assessments are consistently not correct, we need to expand our field of comparison. And so we need to look at other cities that are in similar situations as we have, and then be able to compare those and bring them back to the assessor and say, look, we've got some comparison challenges for you, and be able to look at it that way. That's really the only power we have, because it's not our role to be able to do the assessment, but we can certainly bring that to them.
Tough question. And I must be the only person in all of Corcoran who feels my taxes seem really low. I'm really grateful that I get the great service for the little bit that I pay. We want to make sure that we control spending. That's the best way to reduce your assessments. If the assessment goes up, if the rates go down, then you're still in good shape. When folks bring their assessment when they challenge the assessment, I think they need to feel that they've got the full support of the city. I don't know if they do or not, frankly. I've never done it. So, but it is a complicated problem. I don't think that the city council has direct responsibility, so I'm learning. But that we certainly need to be supportive of those residents who feel that their taxes are not just.
Okay, well, I'm sure you'll be glad. This is the last question. It's going to be a little bit easier, hopefully for you, Paul. We will have the order of Mr. Tom Anderson, then followed by Mr. John Bodema, and then Mr. Brian Majewski, and then Ms. Jennifer Russell. Why are you uniquely qualified for this role?
Well, besides my pleasant nature and good looks. I don't know that I'm uniquely qualified, frankly. I don't bring a huge business experience, but I have been around Corcoran City Hall for a long time, and I work in a cooperative manner with other people, and I am good-hearted, and I may not be the brightest bulb on the tree, but the bulb is lit. And, I don't have an agenda other than to make Corcoran the best city that we can make it. So I think that I will be, I think that I'm a friend of all. I have a hard time saying no, but I'm learning. I'm getting better at that. So I'm a work in progress, just like Corcoran.
Well, before I moved here, I read I've targeted 15 cities that I could potentially live in. And I read the entire code book for all of them, and I read the meeting minutes for every city council that those cities have had in the last 5 years. So I'm fairly analytical about things. I know that this is one of the most independent parts of Minnesota, and so I love it here. I got to pick the city, my wife got to pick the house, so it worked out pretty well. We've discussed what we bring to the table. I think what's unique about this town is we have a lot of qualified people to be on the city council. You get 2 choices. I hope I'm one of them. Thank you.
I did not read every minute before I came here, but I do. I think the uniqueness of each of us is just kind of our life experience, and so you can choose what's best to fit for you. I've spent a lifetime serving. That's really what I focused on since I married my wife 21 years ago, and we've put our lives into that. So that's why we're really sitting here at the table now. I have experience with budgets. I ran a $150 million business at Target. You do what needs to get done to get your job done. But I think a lot of us have enough qualifications. It's just a matter of that we're willing to serve. And I'm grateful for everybody up here that says they're willing to serve. So.
I have been in Corcoran almost a year. I am lucky enough to be living at my great-great-great-grandmother's house. When I first moved here, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm living on a dirt road, and there are horses just roaming around in the yards. So it was interesting to me. But knowing what sense of community is here really, really excites me about living here. I've worked in a lot of cities. I've worked with different types of cities. Working in community economic development, you don't see communities who are as caring and compassionate about the issues like Corcoran. Having a background in economic development has really opened my eyes to types of issues that can happen in the community. I'm in grad school right now getting my public administration degree and constant learning. So bringing all my knowledge from all the other city projects I've worked on would be something that I could really contribute to the city.
Okay, perfect. Now, for the closing statements, you will have 2 minutes. We will do it in reverse alphabetical order, starting with Ms. Jennifer Russell, then Mr. Brian Majewski, Mr. John Bodema, and then Mr. Tom Anderson.
All right, again, thank you for taking time coming out today to listen to all of our thoughts and ideas. I promise to listen and be accessible for residents of Corcoran and to business owners. I will provide certainty to those who want to invest in our city that it will remain beautiful and a place to live and work. I'm open-minded, I think about the big picture, and dedicated to sustainability and success of our great community. By voting for me, you'll get an innovative and enthusiastic leader to help and shape the future of Corcoran. Thank you.
Well, it's been a pleasure to be here with you this evening, and I've enjoyed hearing your questions. I've enjoyed hearing from the other candidates. If you have further questions about me or my experience or different things that I've done, so you can always go to my website at briantajewski.com. I see the opportunity to serve in the City Council as a privilege. It's an opportunity to represent you, to respond to the concerns and the ideas of the residents of the city, and it's an opportunity to look for creative solutions for the different challenges and for our future. My promise to you is not that I will always make the right decision, because I'm certain to vote in ways that some of you will like and others will not. But I can promise to serve you with a serious commitment to what I believe is best for the city, situation by situation, and as well as long term. I'm not running on any single issue, but instead on the platform that we all deserve a council that is fair, respectful, hardworking, and will lead with integrity. That's what I'll do my best to offer you if you give me the chance to serve. And I would ask for you to vote on November 8th.
I too am impressed with everybody here tonight, and I appreciate the opportunity to come before you and ask for your vote. I don't know if you guys have had the experience when somebody says, "Where do you live?" And you say, "Corcoran." And they say, "Oh, where's that? Where's Corcoran?" And if it's all the same, I wouldn't mind keeping our little town a secret. You know what I'm saying? But we will have changes. It has to be done in a systematic way. And this town is full of heart, soul, and character. We cannot lose that with whatever direction the town takes. It's very important to me. I love it here. I'm going to be here for life. We just planted trees. We planted 1,565 trees in the last 3 years. And I'm going to be here for a long time. Some of them are oaks. I want to see them big. I want to facilitate this town being awesome and continue to be what it is today. And I would appreciate your vote November 8th. My website is www.bottomupforcorcoran.com. It talks about my background, where I'm from, and what I do. Thank you very much.
And I would like your vote as well. I do have a website, and the best way to get to it is to go out in the lobby and get the little half-sheet handout that I've got. It's on that, and track that down. Corcoran's divided amongst 5 school districts. I think that's part of the reason why when you say Corcoran, people go, huh, where, huh, how's that? And so I think that makes our life together a little more difficult because we don't all hang out at the same school. And so I think that part of what government here needs to do is to bring community together. And we have tremendous support for things like the tree giveaway, the Night to Unite, all the other volunteer organizations, the Lions, the JCs, all the rest. Part of what my being on the council would be to provide really nice support for all those volunteer organizations that are in the community as well. I love Corcoran. It's been really nice to visit with all of you. My hand is still shaking up here, but it's been a good night. Thank you.
The council portion of the forum. I want to thank everybody for joining. Now I need to stand up and present to the audience. One of the things to note when you are voting on November 8th, there will be a constitutional amendment that will be on there. Please note that if you do not answer, it will be considered a no. So I will be saying it right here. Shall the Minnesota Constitution be amended to remove state lawmakers' power to set their own salaries and instead establish an independent, citizens-only council to prescribe salaries of lawmakers? If you want more information about this amendment and any more information about the election itself, we do have a pamphlet out there in the table, and then also you can visit our website at lwvmn.org. Please remember to vote on November 8th or prior by absentee or direct ballots. The candidates will be available for a while. Should anyone have any further questions they would like to discuss with them. Once again, thank you all for coming. The League of Women Voters welcomes new members, both women and men. Please visit our membership table. Okay, have a great evening.